Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to show you how to use decorative brushes in Adobe Illustrator to make this fern-like seaweed. Let's get started. I've already opened a project called Sandy Seafloor that I created previously. Go ahead and open whichever background you'd like to work with. The first thing that I'm going to do is open up some of my panels. I will need brushes, and when I open brushes, my swatches already opened. If yours didn't open, go to Window and from the alphabetical list choose Swatches. I'm also going to choose Color Guide just in case I need to use that, and I will set these up over here. I'm going to go ahead and get the brush tool, but before I draw anything, I'm going to go over here to Layers and double check that I have locked all of my background elements so that I don't accidentally move them while I'm working with the seaweed. Now I am going to choose a color. This time I'm going to choose this nice reddish maroon color for my stroke, and for my fill I'm going to set it to none. Now with the brush tool I'm going to open my brushes panel and go up here to the top, and you can use a round brush, but I'm going to choose to use this number 30 calligraphy brush, and I'm simply going to click and drag a nice long stem to work with. Now I will open my side menu on the brushes panel, go to Open Brush Library, Decorative, and choose Elegant, Curl, and Floral Brush Set. And now I have all these super cool brushes to work with. Down here towards the bottom, you'll see that there's two that look kind of like a teardrop shape. The first one on the top, when you draw with it, it makes a stroke that's wide at the bottom and narrow at the top. The second one is the opposite, and that's the one that I'm going to use. When I draw these, I want to make sure that I start on the stem so that there's no gap between the pieces. So down here, starting at the bottom, I'm going to click and drag, and you can decide if you're going to have large gaps between your seaweed or small gaps. So seaweed is just all sorts of different shapes and sizes, so you get to decide what your seaweed looks like, and I hope that you'll make a couple of different types of seaweed. So I'll just go ahead and maybe mine will get smaller. Oops, so I have too big of a gap right there. I'm going to undo that with Control Z and try that again. So I am going to have mine get smaller as they go up the stem, just to give it a little bit of interest. And any of the brush strokes that I don't like, I'll just go ahead and use Control Z to undo it. Now here at the top, I'll go ahead and add my last few little brush strokes on here. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is get the selection tool and draw a selection to capture all of these pieces. Then I'm going to go to Object, Path, Outline Stroke. Then over here in my Properties panel, I'm going to go down here to the Pathfinder section and choose the first button, which is Unite. So now all of those separate pieces are now one piece that I can move together. Now sometimes seaweed grows in clusters, so let me show you how to copy this. I'm going to go to Object, Transform, and Reflect. Now I can choose to reflect vertically at 90 degrees, and instead of clicking OK, I'm going to click Copy. And now I have two pieces of this seaweed. Now this one, I'm going to go ahead and hold down Shift on the keyboard to make it proportionate and make it smaller, and I'm going to rotate it a little bit, and that's going to be down here on this side. And I'm going to make it a little bit of a darker color. Let me see. Whoops, so I have the stroke selected. Let me undo that and I'll click to bring the fill forward, and then I will go ahead and change this to a little bit of a darker color. There we go. And in my layers panel, I'm going to click that and put it behind. Okay, now I am going to make another copy of this. So Object, Transform, and Reflect, and I'll hit the copy button. And now I have another one of these that maybe I'll rotate it a little bit more and tuck that into the background there. And maybe I'll make the size a little larger. And there we go. I think that looks good with 3. So I will go ahead and draw a selection around all 3 objects there, and then go to Object, Group. And in my panel over here, my layers panel, I'll go ahead and double click this and call it, I don't know, maroon seaweed. You can name yours whatever you would like. I'm also going to drag my seaweed so it's behind the sand layer so that it looks like it's growing up out of the sand. All right. Be sure to make all sorts of cool and colorful seaweed for your underwater project. Have fun, everyone!